How do we understand each other? A language and identities approach. So, language and identities is a topic that can often be either taken for granted or forgotten about, but it pops up in so many other strains of linguistics. Creating an identity through the language someone uses is a constant process, and someone's identity can affect the way they are understood by other people. First impressions is a big part of identity. A first impression is usually created by the identity that someone presents themselves with. By interpreting that initial identity, the language the person uses will also be interpreted to match the identity. Usually the language and identity coincide together to create one being. This may not be accurate to what the intended meaning was from the communicator, but it shows how identity can influence the understanding of an interaction. For example, stereotypes are a way of creating an entire identity for someone just from a few signifiers. So, a stereotype of dumb blonde would usually mean they have long blonde hair and they are very slim. A chav would be signified by a tracksuit and a gold chain, and maybe a nerd by having glasses and freckles. Just because someone has these signifiers does not necessarily mean they fit to these stereotypes, but they are often portrayed that way. From stereotyping someone, the language produced may be understood differently due to pre-decided interpretations. Not only the words are processed to be understood, but the person producing the word also. Due to stereotypes, by understanding people can become complicated and intentions may be misinterpreted and misunderstood. So, for example, the dumb blonde stereotype that was mentioned previously often comes with connotations that the person is dumb and not smart. If you have these preconceptions of a person, then you are not going to give them a chance, even if they do not fit this image. Sometimes stereotypes can be considered useful as they aid in the understanding of one another. If the person does actually fit the stereotype, this may be considered an easier way to understand as particular aspects of them are predictable. However, not everyone fits these stereotypes. Many stereotypical identities are created through the media and widely distributed, and that's why they're so strongly believed. These stereotypes, however, can often be prejudiced towards a group and then their members also. People can create their own identity through the knowledge of a membership to a social group that they hold. By doing so, they are creating an image that they would like to be acknowledged by and understood. So identities are not something that you are necessarily born with. There may be elements like hair colour and skin colour, but often it's something you create through your social surroundings and your discourse that you use in identifying yourself. To be considered not part of a group, an identity needs to already exist to differ you from that group. This is how discursive practices construct the identity of individuals and groups. Overall, by answering how do we understand each other from a language and identities perspective, you're able to see people intend to be understood in specific ways. However, sometimes people can't be understood in these ways as the audience has been manipulated by the media or someone in power or any other social external factors. Identity is very fluid and can change as you change. Even though you're born with some identity features, your true identity grows with you, and so you can be understood as the person you want to be at any time in your life.